Perspective in Maritime and Underwater Archaeology, organized by the Department of History and Archaeology. It is a privilege to be a part of this inaugural session in the gracious presence of distinguished guests from outside India, from outside the state and within Odisha and this auspicious gathering. To begin with, I may now welcome on the dais our distinguished guests, Honorable Vice Chancellor Sri Santosh Kumar Tripathi Sir, Professor V. Selva Kumar from Tamil University, Mr. Amalka Vijay Surya from University of Laguna, Dr. Rasika Muthukumaran from Central Cultural Fund, respected Chairman PGC, Coordinator Department of History and Archaeology, to kindly proceed for watering the holy flag and take their seats on the dais. Thank you. As the tradition of our university goes, I may now request the student volunteers to come forward and present the saplings to our distinguished guests. This gesture carries a deep-rooted commitment and respect of the stakeholders towards the university and society. Thank you. I would like to invite Professor Fakir Mohan sir to deliver the welcome address and share the conference theme.
Good morning, one and all. Present over here, most esteemed Vice Chancellor Sri Dr. Santosh Kumar Tripathi sir, and esteemed Chairman PG Council Professor Santosh Kumar Agrawala, esteemed keynote speaker Professor V. Selva Kumar, and our esteemed guest of honor Mr. Amalka Vijay Surya and Rasika Muthukumaran. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this international conference on From Ports to Shipwrecks, Perspectives of Underwater and Maritime Archaeology. This theme invites us to embark on a fascinating journey into humanity's maritime past, a journey that introduces the ancient ports and our maritime trade routes and the silent shipwrecks that rest beneath the water of our oceans, seas, rivers, and our lakes. History has often been narrated through kingdoms, empires, and land-based civilizations. Yet, the seas have always been equally important in shaping our human destiny. Oceans were never barriers, rather, they were the bridges connecting the people, cultures, economies, technologies, and ideas across continents. Therefore, ancient ports they served as vibrant centers of trade, diplomacy, migration, and cultural exchange. Maritime routes they enabled civilizations to flourish, carrying out not only goods such as spices, textiles, metals, and ceramics, but also philosophies, religions, artistic traditions, and scientific knowledge. The study of maritime archaeology it expands our understanding of this interconnected past. It invites us to examine the docks, shipbuilding traditions, navigation system, coastal settlements, and submerged cultural landscapes. More importantly, the underwater archaeology it allows us to access a unique archive preserved beneath the sea, shipwrecks, submerged ports, anchors, cargo remains, and artifacts that provide direct evidence of historical interactions. Shipwrecks, in particular, are time capsules of history that tell stories of exploration, commerce, conflict, migration, and sometimes tragedy. A sunken vessel is not merely a wreck; it is preserved moment in time. Each recovered artifact, whether a coin, poetry, then anchor or navigational instrument, it definitely helps us to reconstruct forgotten chapters of our human civilization. Today, maritime archaeology is becoming increasingly interdisciplinary in nature. It brings together historians, archaeologists, geologists, oceanographers, marine biologists, conservation experts, and digital technologists. So, at this time, maritime heritage faces serious challenges like climate change, coastal erosion, pollution, treasure hunting, and unregulated development threaten both coastal and underwater archaeological sites. Preservation, therefore, is not merely an academic responsibility, it is a collective ethical obligation. This conference provides a valuable platform to discuss these emerging issues. I hope our deliberations will definitely explore not only the archaeology of ports and shipwrecks, but also broader questions like how do maritime landscapes they shape our civilizations, what can underwater discoveries tell us about global history, and how can we better preserve submerged heritage for future generations. Therefore, I am confident that these discussions will definitely have meaningful academic dialogue, encourage collaborative research, and inspire our young scholars to engage with this fascinating field. To our students, I would like to say that archaeology is not only about excavating the past, it is about interpreting human journeys. Maritime archaeology teaches us that how human civilizations has always advanced through connection, movement, and exchange. With this brief introduction, I would like to welcome you all to this international seminar and thank you all.
This today international conference is graced by our distinguished guests from various institutes in India and abroad. To introduce them, I would like to request Dr. Shikhasure, Assistant Professor, Department of History and Archaeology, to come forward and do the honor.
As highlighted by the convener of the program, this conference reflects the growing importance of exploring river, seas, coastal region through underwater archaeology for a better understanding of maritime history, trade, navigation, and cultural interaction. Such study opens new avenues for research and contributes significantly to the knowledge of our past. The vision of our esteemed Vice Chancellor is to promote such type of studies and research in such dynamic and emerging field. His continuous encouragement and support inspires us to undertake academic initiatives. In this context, it is our privilege to have with us our Vice Chancellor, esteemed Vice Chancellor, Sri Santosh Kumar Tripathi of Fakir Mohan University, a distinguished academician, researcher, and visionary administrator. Under his dynamic leadership, the university has consistently promoted excellence in teaching, research, innovation, and interdisciplinary studies. Professor Tripathi strongly advocates the exploration of emerging and frontier areas of knowledge. His unwavering encouragement for research initiatives in the field, such as maritime and underwater archaeology, reflects his commitment to advance academic inquiry. Thank you, sir, to be with us. Now, we are honored to have with us Professor Santosh Kumar Agarwala, the Chairman, PG Council of Fakir Mohan University, an eminent academician and administrator known for his dedication for higher education and academic excellence. Through his leadership and guidance, postgraduate education and research activity in the university have witnessed significant growth and innovation. Professor Agarwala has been a strong supporter of interdisciplinary research, skill development, and academic outreach. His encouragement and commitment to promoting scholarly activities continue to inspire faculty members, researchers, and students to pursue excellence in teaching, learning, and research. Thank you, sir, to be with us. Now we have with us Professor V. Selvakumar from the Department of Maritime History and Marine Archaeology, Tamil University, Tanjavur. Professor V. Selvakumar is a distinguished Indian archaeologist specializing in South Indian archaeology, maritime archaeology, heritage management, rock art, ancient trade network, and material culture studies. He has made significant contribution to the study of the Iron Age, early historic period, the archaeology of Tamil Nadu and Kerala, the ancient port of Muzirix, known as Patnam, and ancient ocean maritime interaction. He has held academic and research positions in several institutions and has served as a visiting research fellow at the British Museum and University College London. He has also been associated with major museum development and heritage management projects, including the Korunai Museum and Patnam Museum initiative. Professor Selvakumar has directed and co-directed several major excavation projects and has contributed significantly to understanding South India's maritime and cultural history. An internationally recognized scholar, he has presented papers at conferences in the United Kingdom, France, Germany, and many more. He has received prestigious fellowship and research grants from organizations such as Nehru Trust from Victoria and Albert Museum, ICHR, UGC, INCA, and many more. Through his scholarship, field investigation, and mentorship of doctoral researchers, Professor Selvakumar has emerged as one of the leading authorities on the archaeology and cultural history of South India and Indian Ocean world. Thank you, sir, to be with us. We have among us Mr. Amalka Vijayaseria, archaeologist and underwater archaeologist from the Department of History and Archaeology, University of Ruhuna, Sri Lanka. Dr. Amalka Vijayaseria is a Sri Lankan archaeologist and lecturer specializing in maritime archaeology, underwater cultural heritage, maritime trade, field archaeology, material culture, ancient bead, and prehistoric archaeology. He currently serves as a lecturer in the Department of History and Archaeology at the University of Ruhuna and has extensive experience in both academic teaching and archaeological research as well. He is intentionally recognized for his work in underwater archaeology, particularly his involvement in Godapaya Shipwreck project, one of the most significant maritime archaeological investigations in the Indian Ocean. He has participated in and led numerous archaeological excavations, survey, heritage impact assessment in Sri Lanka and abroad. A fulbright professional scholar awardee, Vijayaseria has presented research at international conferences in countries including United States, China, India, and Australia. His publication focus on maritime archaeology, underwater heritage, ancient trade, beach studies, and Sri Lankan archaeology. Through his research, teaching, and heritage management activities, Amalka has emerged as a leading scholar in Sri Lankan maritime archaeology and underwater cultural heritage studies. Thank you to be with us. We have among us Dr. Rasika Muthukumaran, Officer in Charge, Senior Archaeology Officer, Paddy Training Instructor of Maritime Archaeology Unit, Central Cultural Fund, Sri Lanka. Dr. Rasika is a maritime archaeologist, researcher, and the head of the Maritime Archaeology Unit of Sri Lanka. With over 2 decades of experience, Rasika had actively engaged in and led various initiatives related to underwater cultural heritage. His extensive involvement included policy and management work concerning Sri Lankan shipwrecks, Asia Pacific regional activities, field school program, and efforts related to the UNESCO 2001 Convention and its rectification. Rasika holds MBA specialty and postgraduate qualification in archaeology from the prestigious local universities and Peters University in South Australia. He is currently pursuing his PhD at the University of Sri Jayawardena, Sri Lanka. His work significantly contributes to underwater archaeology excavation and explorations around the country. The establishment of National Secret Database of Sri Lanka and the development of underwater archaeology as a subject for undergraduate students in several universities. Rasika is leading archaeologist of US Ambassador for a program from the Godavari Shipwreck project. Thank you to be with us. We have with us Professor Fakir Mohan, the convener and the coordinator of the Department of History and Archaeology, whose guidance and leadership always remains influential for us to conduct such type of activities. Thank you. Thank you.
Chairman, Postgraduate Council, to address the open panel.
Esteemed Vice Chancellor, Sri Santosh Kumar Tripathi, distinguished chief guests, eminent scholars, keynote speakers, delegates from India and abroad, faculty members of this university and from different universities, researchers, students, ladies and gentlemen. Again, a very warm good morning to all of you. So it is indeed a matter of great pleasure and pride for me as the chairman of the council and the partner of this international conference to welcome this distinguished gathering to the inaugural session of the conference on From Coast to Shipwrecks, Perspectives in Maritime and Underwater Archaeology. Today we assemble to explore one of the most fascinating frontiers of historical and archaeological research, the hidden world beneath our seas and oceans. While terrestrial archaeology has enabled us to reconstruct the story of human civilization on land, underwater archaeology offers an extraordinary opportunity to rediscover the chapters of history that have remained submerged for centuries beneath the waves. So, let me give one example for this. So, in this context of underwater archaeology, it is impossible not to mention the fascinating case of Dwarka, so often regarded as one of the world's most intriguing submerged heritage sites. I am not a man of history, but from news, what I learned, I am going to speak about that one. So, the legendary city of Dwarka occupied a unique place in India's cultural memory as the city associated with Lord Krishna. So, ancient texts describe a prosperous coastal city that was eventually submerged by the sea. So, while the scholars continue to debate the precise relationship between the archaeological events and the literary accounts, the discoveries have undoubtedly stimulated significant scientific interest in India's maritime past. The findings of submerged structures, anchors, and haberts related features demonstrate that the region functioned as an important maritime center for centuries. So, the story of Dwarka reminds us that beneath the sea lies a vast and largely unexplored archive of human civilization. So, every submerged structure, every shipwreck, and every artifact recovered from the seabed has the potential to reset our understanding of history. So, I congratulate the organizing committee, the department, and all stakeholders for their dedicated efforts in organizing this important international conference. I am confident that the deliberation during the conference will generate new insights, inspire young researchers, encourage international collaborations, and contribute significantly to the advancement of maritime and underwater archaeological studies. I also extend my sincere appreciation to all the delegates who have traveled from different parts of the country and the world to share their expertise and experiences. Your presence enriches this academic gathering and strengthens the spirit of global scholarship. Let this conference serve as a platform where the mysteries of ancient ports, submerged cities, shipwrecks, maritime landscapes are explored with scientific rigor and intellectual curiosity. So, with these words, I once again welcome you all to this international conference and wish the delegation every success. Thank you.
Now we move forward to the felicitation of the guests. I request the student volunteers to do the needful. Now I may kindly request our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir to felicitate Professor V. Selva Kumar. To felicitate Mr. Amalka Vijay Surya, sir. I may now request Vice Chancellor sir to kindly visit Dr. Rasika Muthukumari. We also have with us two eminent resource persons. I would like to request our I may now request Vice Chancellor sir to kindly I would request Professor Fakir Mohan sir to kindly visit his Vice Chancellor sir. Give a round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Certainly, now it is the time to listen to our distinguished keynote speaker, Professor V. Selva Kumar from Department of Maritime History and Marine Archaeology, Tamil University. I would kindly request sir to take the floor.
Respected Vice Chancellor and respected PG Council Chairman and the convener and co-convener of the program, and Dr. Amalka and guest of honor Rasika Kumaran and other scholars, Professor Fakir Mohan and Dr. Sila Tripathi and other scholars and students. I am indeed very happy to be here, and I would like to thank the university for inviting me to make a presentation at this conference. Since we have very limited time, I'll make just 2 points. When we talk about maritime history and marine archaeology and underwater archaeology, India has more than 7,000 kilometers, or recently they say India has more than 10,000 plus kilometers of coastline. But unfortunately, we have not done enough research on this coastline. INAUGURATION and the Archaeological Survey of India and other institutions such as Tamil Nadu state government, they have done important underwater archaeological research along the coastline of India, especially at Dwarka and also at Kaveri Kumbatinam and at several sites along the coast, like Dr. Sila Tripathi and his colleagues, Gaur and Sundaresh, they have found several things including stone anchor. Actually, we have the responsibility of walking each and every inch of our coastline to look for archaeological remains. We have not done this I know based on my recent exploration in some parts in Tamil Nadu, especially Periyapattanam and also in Kanyakumari, and also in Kerala, Vepur we found a stone anchor. So when we walk along the coast every inch and inquire with the local people, we have so many things to discover. We have not completely done that. So when we talk about maritime history and marine archaeology, we need to divide this into 4 areas. One is purely underwater archaeology, where we look for submerged shipwrecks, submerged settlements. Second is coastal archaeology, where we need to explore the area 1 to 2 kilometers from the current coast or even little further to understand. Thirdly, we need to work on the hinterland settlements and their history, especially the inscriptions, to understand what kind of maritime evidences we have. Especially when we look at the hinterland inscription and historical evidence, we get a clear connectivity. Maritime history or archaeology cannot exist independently. If there is no hinterland history, hinterland states and empires and civilization, there cannot be maritime existence. So therefore we have to have a clear coastal archaeology, clear underwater archaeology as separate branches of this discipline, and also looking beyond the coastline. If you look at Southeast Asia, Egypt, recently they have found an important inscription in the Valley of Kings in Nile. So we have so much inscriptions and other evidence for India's maritime history beyond the coastline. So we have to look beyond the Indian Ocean rim to look for these evidences. So, therefore, we need to explore all these domains to reconstruct the maritime history and marine archaeology. Another important point I wanted to add, which has come out based on my research, is that we need to look at our inscriptions, especially the coastal communities, the fisherfolk communities with whom I have been working for the past 5 years in the Kanyakumari and also in Periyapatnam area. The living culture of the fisherfolk has not been focused in India. They have been an important community enabling the maritime sailing as well as maritime technology and coastal knowledge. They have knowledge on the coast, different type of weeds, different type of fishes, different type of seasons, and also water current. Their knowledge need to be tapped properly, which has not been done. Mainly the coastal communities, fisherfolk, they have a lot of information. Unfortunately, I've been doing field work for more than say 30 years. Whatever people I interviewed in the 1990s, 2000, when I went to recently, the younger generation do not have any of the traditional knowledge. I visited some villages in 1990s where I could get a lot of information from the fisherfolk and others. In 2020s, after 20s onwards, these people are into Android phone and reels. They don't have much of this traditional information being transmitted. So, on war footing, we have to record the knowledge of the coastal communities, especially fisherfolk. Even in Odisha, you have a lot of communities living along the Chilika Lake. They preserve very valuable information. So, this anthropological and ethnographic work is very important. Recently, I have been looking at the inscriptions to understand the role of fisherfolk. I found an important information which I would like to share with you. Conventionally, the history of southern India and as well as in India has been reconstructed mainly based on the epigraphical evidence. But even the epigraphy has not been studied in detail. Noboru Karashima, who was awarded Padmashri by the government of India, he used to say that we need to listen to the murmurs of the inscription, epigraphy. The epigraphy sources murmurs. Actually, we need to reconstruct people's history. Most of the time, we have been focusing on the major empire, major civilization, and we forget the history of the people. So, when I was looking at the inscriptions related to the fisherfolk of Tamil Nadu, I found a very interesting reference to Pattanavar. Pattanavar is a fisherfolk community living by the side of Pattanam. Patan, you have Manikpatna, all over Vishakhapatna, in Patan, in Prabhas Patan in Gujarat. Patan or Pattanam is a very important term which refers to the coastal ports and urban centers. These Patans became very popular probably from the Harappan times all along the coast of India. Here in southern India, we have this community called Pattanam. So, which when I did the ethnographic work in Nagapattinam, looking at the story of Adipatha Nayanar, one of the 63 Nayanmar, the fisherfolk told me, the fisherfolk community, they have a separate domain. Even a king cannot enter there. This information they provided, they said they have a separate assembly, they do not mix with the hinterland community. Coming to the South Indian historical narrative, if you look at many of the historical texts, we find reference to assemblies, Brahmadeya, the assembly of the Sabha of the Brahmins. We have Nagarams or commercial establishment in which the Nagarata and the mercantile group. Then we have the Urar. Urar are village assemblies which have been studied by Subbarayalu and all that. Here, to that, we should add Pattanavaram. This I found a reference in the Chola inscription of 12th century at Tiruvattiur. Tiruvattiur was a very important port. Actually, these communities were interacting with the hinterland people through the temples. If you look at the coastal temples, recently Himanshu Prabhakar has written about the coastal shrines. We have several coastal shrines. We have different inscriptions referring to this community. So I would like to add to the list of local assemblies which were conventionally described as Ura, the Vellanmahe or village farming communities, and Nagaram, commercial establishment, and Brahmadaya. To that, I think we need to add Pattanavaram, the fisher folk assembly, which has never been represented in history. I have found references to 5 to 6 such inscriptions. The Pattanavaram were not just fisher folk, they were also offering textile, they were also giving textile offering to the god, and they were given the status of Ayogava, which is actually mentioned in some of the Dharma Sastras. They are given a mixed caste status in the medieval inscription, for which we have 2 or 3 inscription references. So we can see how these fisher folk communities are gradually integrated into the mainstream Saivism or Hinduism, which is explained by the Adipatta Nayana Puranam. If you go to Nagapattinam, you can see that even today the fisher folk take the main deity to the sea on Monday. So with this, I finish my address. The Fisher Folk Assembly is one of the important local bodies which I have come up with based on my recent survey of the inscriptions. I think we need to include the history of these fisher folk communities who have strong oral tradition as part of maritime history, apart from underwater archaeology, coastal archaeology, hinterland archaeology, and foreland connection. Thank you.
Mulka Vijay Surya sir, renowned underwater archaeologist from University of Luguna, Assam, to deliver his speech.
Thank you very much for inviting me. So it's a case, with pleasure me to address this gathering, chairpersons and my teacher, Professor Sandeep, my colleague Sheila, and all the distinguished guests here and students. I think that the time is limited, so I would say, as you all know, Sri Lanka is in the southern tip of the Indian Ocean, in the Indian continent. So, but we all know we were together back in 10,000 years ago, the beginning of Holocene. We were together as one land. But now, because of sea level rising, Sri Lanka is located as an island. So, my colleague Vasika and we were surveying underwater, and we were excavating some sites underwater. We work separately. They have more to do, as Professor Salomkumar said. Even in Indian archaeologists, underwater archaeologists, they have to work more. Because not like land archaeology, fieldworks, underwater fieldworks, we need time. And it's difficult to survey underwater. There's no proper visibility underwater, that's why. And we need more technology. So what I want to mention here, as Sri Lankan underwater archaeologists, we were separate. And Dr. Sheila and others, you and all other institutes, they also work separately. But now it's time to get together. So we have work to do. Because from ancient times, especially from ancient Silk Road times, India and Sri Lanka, we were still in the strategic location of Indian Ocean. So because of that, number of shipwrecks might have buried in our Sri Lankan borders and Indian borders. And in the next session, I will show you one of the maps that we have compiled. Around Sri Lankan coast, we have more than 50 ancient port sites, international port sites. So it means that we had lots of international trade relations, not only trade, but cultural, religious, and all. So, but we have only, according to our shipwreck database, in Sri Lankan shipwreck database, we have around 200 shipwrecks being discovered. But I'm damn sure we have more than 500 in our territorial borders. But we take Indian borders, we can work on more. So we have 2 more days, today and tomorrow. We can discuss more. In the next session also, we are going to present some some of our discoveries. So since the young crowd is here, in further studies you can work on more. It's time to collaborate now. In Sri Lanka, and because of this economic crisis, we have limited budget for fieldworks and especially for underwater fieldworks. But if we come together as Indian archaeologists and Sri Lankan underwater archaeologists, we can, I'm definitely sure that we can have a good collaborative international project in the near future. Thank you. Let's stop discussing further these 2 days. Thank you very much.
Now, I would like to invite Dr. Rasika Muthukumaran, Senior Archaeological Officer, to give his deliberation.
Our invitees, the academic staff and students of the Fakir Mohan University, and all the known friends from many years and who become the friends with us and learn with us for the future. So, I'm happy to be here and share our knowledge with you all and to give a good start to a 2-day discussion, presentations and hearing both sides which are connected in maritime history and archaeology for many years of history. So, as Amartha told, as an island nation, our all connections for our known history is with the maritime, from the sea. There's no flights, no other ways to come to Sri Lanka at that time, like 2,000 to 3,000 years ago. Only the ships and craft who brought the culture, history, trade, people to our nation. So I'm looking forward to have a good session of discussions. Thank you very much.
Invite Sri Santosh Kumar Tripathi sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor Fakir Mohan University, to deliver his presidential address.
Esteemed Chairman of the Council, Professor Santosh Kumar, the coordinator of the Department of History and Archaeology, Professor Fakir Mohan, our chief speaker, Professor B. Silva Kumar, guests on the dais, Mr. Ramanka Elisarea and Rasika Muthuraman, guests in front of me, Mandi, Pati, my colleagues from different departments, teaching fraternity and dear students. This seminar is actually, I should consider that will be an eye-opener for the students of history and archaeology of Fakir Mohan University who will be interested in maritime research and underwater archaeology. When I was hearing Professor Silva Kumar, the work itself speaks how vast it is to be explored. As the students of history and archaeology, it's my humble submission that you should also explore the coastal Odisha as well as the maritime heritage of Odisha. We started from 17th BC, 7th BC as I mentioned. Many things are to be explored, many things are to be known, and therefore I say that this 3-day seminar will obviously open our eyes to see the sea, to see the ocean. What is there? I was reading a newspaper article. It says that we have only explored, throughout the world we have only explored 15% of the sea. 85% are yet to be explored. We are still not convinced. I have forgotten the name of that triangle. Why aircrafts are not traveling over it? What is happening there in the underwater? We are still to explore how Konark was constructed, Konark temple was constructed, as I believe it was inside the sea. We are still to see how many ships are in the sea. We have all seen the Titan. Titan must be there. Along with Titan, how many seas, how many wrecks are there, how many boats are there, and how they were being used, where from they were traveling, where they were reached, what was the purpose of such traveling, whether it is only business or anything else. As I heard, religious tourism was a part of this, the culture. If this is a fact, then we have to explore all this, how it was. As rightly mentioned by Professor Agarwal, Dwarka is yet to be seen in total. We have heard many things, we have seen something, but have we seen the whole Dwarka as it is submerged? And is it only Dwarka, or there is any other city which is submerged in Bay of Bengal, in Arabian Seas and in Indian Ocean? We have to explore everything. This is a part of study of history as said by Professor Silva Kumar. Patnam is obviously a common name, like Malti Patna is said, Visakhapatnam is said. So why it is? And we believe even Jagannath temple was built on the sea. Is it a fact which is to be explored? History, research in history is not limited to the classroom, as I believe. Enough is enough. We have limited ourselves into the classroom, we have limited ourselves into the degree, into the examination mode. Now please allow your students to explore. Recently I have read that Balipada was a coastal city. Something was found out in Balipada. If it is a fact, then what about Balasore? Obviously Balasore would have a heritage city which has some history. You have to find out. Newness should be there, but with indigenous research it is possible. We have to look after among these. If it is a fact that we have only explored 15% of the sea, what about the other 85%? And what about the Kalinga, which was very famous as far as business is concerned, commercial transactions are concerned with Myanmar, Bali, Sumatra, Java. What was happening and why that culture didn't continue? What happened to it? It needs to be explored. I got a talk that the king of Kalinga was known as Mahodadipati. If it is a fact, Mahodadi means the ocean. Bay of Bengal is known as Mahodadi. So, what was exactly the history, or is the name was Mahodadipati? It's all to be explored. And I am very happy that the Department of History and Archaeology has started this one, trying to explore, invited people like, learned people like those who are sitting here, those who are sitting in my front. I am happy that Amalka Vajasriya proposed that collaborative studies should be there. We are a coastal university, they are in the sea. It will be a nice exploration if we jointly work. I request State Department Amalka ji to go ahead with this collaborative program. On behalf of the university, we will support this collaborative program because it's not far away a place which is not accessible. It is accessible and easily accessible. I am sorry that some trouble was there in Chennai airport yesterday, but thankfully they are with us for this seminar as resource persons. We will have many learning opportunities here. Thank you very much. the Department of History and Archaeology, which is organizing this kind of seminar. I also thank the students that they are participating in good number, in spite of exam being continued. And my thanks goes to all my colleagues who are attending this kind of seminar. I also thank the delegates who have accepted our request and helped us to make this seminar successful. Thank you very much.
And support. We know this international conference will surely give a learning platform to all the students, and the ALD sessions coming afterwards, they will definitely attend it and learn something new to explore. Now I sincerely request my colleague Mr. Sasanksita Patnaik to deliver the formal thanksgiving of the inaugural session.
Respected Vice Chancellor, Sri Santosh Kumar Tripathi sir, Chairman Postgraduate Council, Professor Santosh Kumar Agrawal sir, esteemed keynote speaker, Professor V. Selva Kumar sir, honored guest of honor, Mr. Ramalka Vijayasuriya and Mr. Rasika Muthukumaran sir, respected dignitaries of the days, faculty members and dear participants. A very good afternoon to all. It is my immense privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this auspicious occasion of the inaugural session of two-day international conference on ports to shipwrecks, perspectives in maritime and underwater archaeology. At the outset, I express my heartfelt gratitude to our respected Vice Chancellor, Sri Santosh Kumar Tripathi sir, for his inspiring presidential address and for his constant encouragement towards academic excellence. I extend my sincere thanks to Professor Santosh Kumar Agrawal sir, Chairman Postgraduate Council, for his gracious presence and valuable words. I am deeply grateful to our keynote speaker, Professor V. Selva Kumar sir, for his enlightening address, which has truly enriched and our understanding of maritime and underwater archaeology. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to our esteemed guest of honor, Mr. Ramalka Vijayasuriya sir and Mr. Rasika Muthukumaran sir, for sharing their valuable experience and insights. My sincere appreciation goes to Professor Fakir Mohan sir, convener of the conference, for his warm welcome address and presenting the theme so beautifully. And I also thank Dr. Sikhasri Rai Madam, co-convener, for the introduction of the distinguished guest. I would also like to express my gratitude to Dr. Akash Malik sir, session coordinator, for smoothly coordinating this session. I extend special thanks to the Department of History and Archaeology for Mohan University for organizing this wonderful academic event. I also acknowledge the efforts of all faculty members, research scholars and student volunteers whose dedication made this program a success. Finally, I thank all the participants for their enthusiastic presence and active involvement. With this, I will conclude my total thanks. I wish the conference great success in coming sessions. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. It was indeed a treat to witness the vibrant speakers share their thoughts at this stage and making the conference the justice it deserved. We are thankful to the August gathering for their timely presence and hope they have enjoyed it thoroughly. Now it is time for national anthem, and I would like to request all of the audience to kindly stand.
Thank you.